tracking his duo proximity, which I think is a really interesting stat. Anyway, anytime we track where players are for the first 15 minutes of the game, this one tracks where the support players are in relation to their AD carries, WildTurtle, which is on screen right now. And he is actually the lowest duo proximity, which means that he roams the most for support. So not only is he putting up great numbers for the team, his kills plus assists are second, his KDA is third for supports, he is also roaming around and helping out other areas of the map, not just WildTurtle. In addition, it's always cool when you play different champions. 8 out of the 9 games have been different. Rakon was the first repeating one for him.
And that's Turtle's fault, because he has to pair it with this guy. If we look on the other side, though, we've got Pobelter, who is looking to get revenge against the team that left him rosterless after the offseason. It is Pobelter versus PoE, Kobe.
I really like this, right? Anytime you have the player going up against their old team, up against their replacement. In this case, I think both of them kind of won. Like Pobelter stepping in for CLG, who just bench crown, have been at the bottom of the standings, but he's putting everything he has into it. He looks very optimistic, I'd say. Meanwhile, PowerOfEvil has fit in very well with FlyQuest. Seems like he's given them a lot of good direction. And he has also brought more things than people would expect from old PowerOfEvil games.
Yeah, to me, this is the most balanced that PoE has looked since coming to North America to play. He's not just farming it out and like trying to carry late game. He can play more utility. He's been willing to play Rumble. He's still a massive carry if you give him all the farm. Like, he's looking very good. Like, better than I've ever seen him here.
Yeah, he's definitely a player that he knows what he wants in the game, and it seems like he's been able to work with the team to accomplish those goals. I like that you mentioned the Rumble pick specifically, because that is one where he crushed early game, huge damage output from the get-go, and people do not associate melee champions with him. They do not associate hard, pressing, early proactive plays, and yet he has been able to bring that in addition to his old style still to this team. And we'll see what they can do versus CLG. If CLG can actually rack up a win for themselves with Pobelter now in the mid lane. Soraka already off the table. That is what CLG got their single win in the LCS with. So playing to the numbers, that's a very good ban there.
Very smart by FlyQuest. Azumi also going to be banned in kind by CLG, so keeping those healing supports out of this game. Next is Lucian, who we did just see fairly impactful there for Sunday on 100 Thieves, so nice takeaway there as well.
And FlyQuest have been showing some more variations and some more tank lineups. They had Viper on the Ornn. They don't have to put him on Riven on carries for their team to actually work now, because they do have PowerOfEvil and WildTurtle, these reliable carries, I would say. I mean, people don't, maybe reliable, people don't really associate with WildTurtle, but I think in his age, he has become much more reliable. And PowerOfEvil definitely does bring that backline damage. Phelius off the table. I expect also CLG probably last ban Ornn from red side, because FlyQuest showed it so recently and it was successful. And it's incredibly difficult to let your opponents have Ornn and then say that we are not going to make mistakes in the game, especially if you're sitting in last place.
Yeah, definitely curious about priority of that champion as well. MF was the last ban there for FlyQuest in this phase, so keeping that away. And I think at this point, as expected, last ban on red side is on there for CLG. So what is the first pick now for FlyQuest?
I would go...
that one.
Dang. Buzzer is already up. I don't get to answer. Definitely was 100% going to say set, of course. Big brain, of course. On the other side, though, what can CLG run into sets? People have tried a couple different things. Since Set has actually gotten the hot fix to take him down a little bit in power, I feel a bit more comfortable giving him over. One of the biggest ones has been Aatrox. Now, a lot of pros have been pretty outspoken about how Aatrox, with the extra reach that you have, and with your options later in the game, it does feel like Aatrox is so much better of an all-around champion, and especially gives you a lot of control and agency, and that is something that I highly value for top laners. I think Set is a little bit more constricted in what you're going to do both for yourself inside lanes, but also what you're going to do for the team. So you really have to draft around it. And I do like pairing it with hover over there of Jarvan. I like the Jarvan more than the Rek'Sai personally, because it does give you the jump in, initiation, group up for a team fight. But FlyQuest opt to grab their Zyra-Rakan duo for the bottom lane now to give them that reliability. And like we were talking about earlier, stats for IgNar, once again, Turtle is going to force him to repeat a champion here.
Yep.
Rakan. I do think he looks really good on it, though. It gives them that split-second initiation, and you do need that surprise factor when you have set. It's one of those things I'm kind of alluding to with the Jarvan hover. You need somebody else who's got some really good, very good split-second initiation. Rakan also brings that here, so like the pairing for FlyQuest. Meanwhile, CLG gonna go with the tanky standard one in Sejuani for your front line.
Yeah, have to agree though. Ever since kind of the world learned about IgNar, when he was on Misfits during that pretty legendary run from that team, he's just known for proactive champions, right? As long as he can make a play happen with the champion he has, you're generally pretty comfy giving him just about anything. Sejuani though, last pick of the phase for CLG, and Rumble already out of there. Don't want to give that one over to PowerOfEvil.
Sejuani here, very good long range pick possibilities. One of the reasons it's taken so often in pro, when she even gets a slight buff for solo queue, her win rate's not that great, but the long range engage and also having a dash cannot be underestimated. It's so important for professional play to be able to have options when smaller objectives are coming up and be able to have that mobility. Now, when you pair it with something like Varus, it does bring a tremendous amount of threat, because all you need is that Sejuani frontline charging in, landing the stun onto someone for Varus to then follow up, and Varus ultimate can then spread to multiple targets. So it really is a good combination in my opinion.
Yeah, I like even the simpler side of that, where it's just a good tank. Like, there are so few tanks in pro play that you can have. Like, On changes the texture of so many games just because of how good he is as a tank. So Zed kind of slots in as one of the other options you can take. Supports were also banned on the FlyQuest side. Zoe was banned by CLG. And Azir has been taken for Pobelter. So, you know what? It's been a while since he played on the LCS stage. He's played back-to-back Azir games, looking for that comfort here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even though they lost their previous game, I thought that him going in, creating plays, looking for Shreem shuffles, him being proactive was a good look for CLG, and the team that is sitting at the bottom of the standings, happy that they pick it up for him again. And this time, you mentioned Sejuani, one of the super good frontline champions that can give Azir some more safety to actually DPS around. So Pobelter won't feel the need to have all the playmaking on his shoulders. If you have Sejuani and Varus bringing structure to these team fights and a possible flank from an Aatrox, those are very good things for an Azir setup to have a standard team fight. But FlyQuest also recognized this. Standard team fight means we got to go front to back. That means we have to shred the Sejuani. And pastry time, classic shredding
It's
Sejuani.
Grundle.
There you go.
Everyone is not surprised at all. I do like the Corki though from PowerOfEvil. Seen it a couple of times, notably from Ica actually, who has been on the Omnistone train. We'll see if PowerOfEvil has something similar lined up. But this is a matchup we've seen a lot. In fact, last time Pobelter was in the LCS, he may have been playing a lot of this matchup. But certainly one that both these players will be comfortable with. And then last pick Thresh there for Smoothie.
I know a lot of players, when they saw the buffs of the recent patch, they're like, oh, buffs to Azir and Corki. Uh-oh, we may be returning to this meta that's a bit more snooze fest. I did like our previous game to this one, where 100 Thieves pressing a lot of action. This particular game, I don't expect to follow in that same manner, because they both have these scaling options, because it is front-to-back team fighting for both of these teams. This will probably be one of those longer ones where we have more time to go into setups for the team fights and looking forward in the game.
Tells you a lot about mid laners, though, I feel like. Where, like, Azir Corki is like, oh, I don't know if I want to go back there, but they'll play Syndra Orianna every day for 5 years. So doesn't take much, but certainly a classic matchup there in mid. And curious to see how Pobelter can do with his second LCS appearance of this split, up against someone that's been performing exceptionally well on the other side there for FlyQuest, who is still our second place team code. We do not forget. looking to create some distance with all the teams below them.
Create some distance, plant some trees, all in the day of a successful FlyQuest team.
Well, we'll see how things shake out. As you said, might be a bit more of a slow-burning game, but I think CLG, especially at this juncture, you know, moving a new mid lane into the role, just wants to play very safe, standard League of Legends. Because when things get out of hand, you have to think they'll fall apart pretty quickly.
All right. Since it's the beginning of the game and you get a lot of time, I like to also point out possible synergies that you can, you know, use with your friend when you're queuing up solo queue and stuff like that. I also like to point out wagging dog booties. PowerOfEvil strutting his way down mid lane. Pobelter also has not lost his style. One that's super interesting to me is whenever you can try and use the enemy champions against them. So you have to be very careful when you're playing against Trundle and a set, because Santorin will always have his eyes on Wiggily and Smoothie. If they proc Aftershock, or even if they don't and they're in a bad position, you get Trundle ulted that will shred your resistances, and then Set can ult you back into your backline, dealing a big amount of damage and shredding everybody and slowing everybody. And since the Sejuani or the Thresh will already have the Trundle ultimate on them, it makes it so you get this really good grouping of, you know, pile on for AoE damage, and you can set your own team up for wombo combo. So it makes the front lines now have to pay a lot more positioning to attention to their positioning so that they don't set up their own back lines for devastation.
I like it, very creative. But before we go any further, Latigrus is standing by, one of the coaches of FlyQuest.
Yeah, after officially clenching that #2 spot yesterday, we had to get some words directly from you. First of all, general thought, Set, Xayah, Rakan, often picked early, not just today, but recently. Why is that?
I think it's just a really strong combo for us, and it's something that is consistently winning us games, so we're just going to keep picking it.
And why do you feel that IgNar has been performing not just on this pick, but in general?
I think IgNar is just a good player, so that's why he's going to be performing well on any pick.
Last thing for you, talking about other good players, you have the jungle and mid lane synergy that's been building so far throughout the split. With Corki and Trundle, what does that have to offer?
Corki and Trundle, it's not really like a combo by itself, but it's more of what they picked and what we can do with against their picks. So I think we have a lot of options there as well.
Well, I'm ready to see what options play out in this game, so let's hop back to it.
And let's catch back up on a follow-up question with the Corki and the Trundle. Early gank from Santorin. Level 2 comes in, gets the flash off of Pobelter with just the pillar placement there. You like to see that. Effective Trundle gank early on from the pillar. Yep. And pillar also is a good tool for setting up hitting skill shots. So, you know, later on, Corki can also land the R poke a bit easier.
It's a very efficient use of Trundle there, just walking in and eating the lane. As we have a look down here in bottom side, I have to think the more aggressive lane is the Varus and the Thresh, and Stixxay and Smoothie certainly making their presence known down here in the 2v2.
So I don't play a lot of support, but I do like this matchup because as the Thresh, I feel like I have a lot of options in interrupting the Rakan and punishing the Rakan. If the Rakan ever makes a mistake, you can play him out of his dashes. His dashes back to his AD carry for the shield are in a straight line, so you can also land hooks a lot easier. I'm not very good at landing hooks on moving targets that are just trying to dodge, but if you know they're going in a straight line back to one of their allies, it makes it a lot easier. And the Rakan, a lot of the power is in being able to choose those moments to go in and out of the fight. And Thresh is a champion that is very good at interrupting that. So if you have a skill discrepancy there, that can definitely turn things around. Play is so good at trying to stifle those plays.
Seems like Pobelter has not been deterred from the early Trundle pillar that cost him his flash. Still pushing PowerOfEvil in here. Again, seen a lot of this lane in the past. There should be mostly just farming happening here. As we'll check in with top lane instead. Viper going to get chained up by Ruin. Haymakers forward to prevent the incoming Q3 damage from the Aatrox. But again, Ruin has played so much Aatrox already. Clearly very comfortable on the champion. Going to try and play as aggressively as he can without overextending his boundaries.
think we might have a setup, possibly bottom lane. Both junglers clearing top to bottom, so ending up down here. And both supports are good at setting up plays.
Ooh, good flash by Smoothie, but is forced to use the summoner. Signal was looking for it. Pillar, though, was also nice. Santorin continuing to try and find flashes, but does not get Stixxays.
All right, very good openings now for FlyQuest with flashes burned in both mid lane and bottom lane. You can see they're concentrating their vision efforts to try and supplement that, both bottom as well as the river, so that the repeat. Oh,
Got Lantern in there for Stixxay. IgNar, though, just going to dash out of the way. Not the same as something like a Leona, where you can try and permanently lock down one of these very mobile champions.
So it kind of right there is a possibility of illustrating what I was talking about earlier, where if Thresh gets the hook on you in this case for the Rakan, if Smoothie holds his Flay until IgNar starts his dash back, then you can interrupt it there. If you Flay first for the slow and is your normal reaction, right? It's kind of muscle memory. Oh, I caught someone. Let's play them in further. Then the Rakan can actually dash back out. But you really need to get those interrupts to make it count.
Ruin and Viper continuing to trade back and forth. Viper actually with a pretty nice looking CS lead, although there's a big wave building, so Ruin still has some work to do there. Looking for the showstopper, that was Zolty. Looking for the facebreaker, excuse me, there for Viper, but does not pull Ruin in, and this is why. Some friends up here in the top lane.
Yep, anytime you have a big minion wave building up, you have to worry about getting dove. Ruin, how does he get out of this one?
Gets pillared, pops the ulti, suppression, starts. There's the showstopper we talked about earlier. Good move though from Ruin, but not enough. Viper though will fall to the tower shot, but first blood still to FlyQuest.
Super awkward start to that tower dive with the pillar from Santorin taking aggro, but then immediately dropping it and causing Viper to tank. So they do get the kill on the minion wave and deny it from Ruin, but Pobelter is up there to pick it up anyway, so not nearly as good as that could have gone for FlyQuest. Here's another look at it. So while pillar, you can't see it right now on your screen, it does draw tower aggro. They removed the 1 true damage to do it, but it still is going to draw that aggro, and so then Santorin, not able to bite, not able to be melee range, do anything in there, walks out, drops the tower aggro that has already started to heat up, so it's going to do more damage for the couple of shots that has already been able to warm up a bit, and then Viper is going to have to take the extra DPS there, ends up going down in a trade kill. CLG very happy to be able to get that back.
Also not a most even trade either. CLG did get the Cloud Drake as a result of all the action in the top lane. So I like the look there from FlyQuest to, again, use the wave that Viper's built to play aggressively with their mid and jungle to roam up there, because mid lane itself isn't going to have too much happening other than farming. So CLG do respond effectively, and Ruin is happy to get the trade there and not really fall behind in the 1v1.
All right, and since they got the dragon very easily here for CLG, they can turn their eyes towards the rift-hailed side of the map. 8 minutes already up. And then FlyQuest looking for a opposite side invade here. You can see on your screen in the mini-map the mid lane here combining with Santorin to steal away the blue buff from Pobelter. Definitely worth denying, but there is a counter on the other half of the map right now as Wiggily wants to try and secure the FlyQuest side. I think that they should be able to do it in time. The difficult part would be handing it off to Pobelter in a similar fashion. I think that Wiggily would just have to take it for himself. And they're even too scared, they run off, seeing Trundle run through mid lane.
Yeah, Viper also running down there to get the info and find out that was indeed the play they were looking for. Now Pobelter has kind of pushed the wave and can maybe move over, but seems like the timing window has already closed. So Wiggily instead gonna look mid here. Does have the ulti, Pobelter with his as well, but between the Valkyrie and the Flash still up for PowerOfEvil, a pretty tough pick to try and get in such a short lane. So Santorin is going to go ahead and take his blue buff.
And I have to say, Pastry, even though I am very biased for junglers and I joke around a lot.
Good combo here, never mind! IgNar gets deleted! Smoothie able to pick up credit for that one, but here comes Viper, showstoppers in, smacks Smoothie around. He's looking to try and get them both! What a stun, max range on the facebreaker, and then the haymaker follows up, and that's just so clean from Viper.
Really good teleport and execution of the ensuing fight there from Viper. CLG had a really good pick and deserved credit there for the kill onto IgNar, but FlyQuest answers back, and it will result in another neutral objective here for CLG. Because Viper had to leave the top side with the teleport, leaves Rift Herald wide open, as well as allowing Ruin to push the minion wave into the tower, deny the extra wave of CS.
Yep, gonna go back and spend the gold that he's built up from that play, but this just started so well for CLG.
Yeah, keep your eyes on Smoothie here. Walks into the brush, make sure that IgNar will not have vision of him starting the hook. Gets the full 100-0 there. Stixxay immediately followed up with the Varus ultimate, and with Ignite on him, they just burst him down. Then, it was also good use there of the Lantern, but Viper, even better usage there. Able to ult Smoothie over to the side, and then get him still just in the range for the stun, getting one champion on both sides to allow the double kill.
So as far as gold in the top lane goes as a result, Viper now up about 500 off that little play. As you mentioned though, Ruin did push a wave and get some tower plates, so staying pretty even in the 1v1.
And overall for a team, CLG consistently getting the objective afterwards, right? You mentioned the Dragon before, Rift Herald this time. Pobelter's actually the one that gets to pick it up. So he should be able to cash in. He can basically get guaranteed gold off of this Rift Herald, get some plates for himself.
IgNar now level 6, did not have that in the earlier engagement. So looking mid here alongside Santorin, and as you mentioned, the lowest duo procs in the league, which means IgNar is roaming a lot, but continuing to leave the bot lane when he can. Now going to face check Wiggily, but W, and he's away to safety on top of Santorin. And 10 seconds till this Mountain Drake is up, which is why the teams are fighting for vision in the area, but the early crab does go over to CLG.
All right, Dragon arrival is imminent. And even though they have the Scuttle Crab, CLG, well,
Brook's gonna miss. IgNar now maybe can try and bait them in. Pops the ulti, look at him go! Gets the knock up there in the backline. It's Wiggly, still pretty tanky, and they just can't really get through that. Santorin will fall. Now the TP in this time from Pobelter will turn the tides of battle.
great lockdown there from CLG. And with the teleport coming through from PowerOfEvil, he does make it there, but the kill has already been had, and that means objective will also be had by CLG. Stacking up now, 2 dragons is starting to get a bit ominous for FlyQuest. They didn't even have to use their top lane advantage, by the way. I was about to set up, okay, Ruin has options here. Ruin was fighting hand-to-hand with Viper, so he could not get away from Viper and would have to worry about the interrupt. Doesn't have to even start channeling his teleport there. So CLG hold on to a teleport advantage with the mid lane teleports coming through. So Hook does miss. He does get a play here, but then it's the Varus ultimate onto Santorin into the Sejuani full combo to get the burst damage. And with both mid laners coming through, CLG able to pick up the dragon afterwards, as you know.
Yep, neither marksman, neither PowerOfEvil or Turtle could really get in to hit the support that was the most vulnerable target in that spot. Instead, it's CLG that continue to pick up objectives and kills in this game. Pobelter still holding on to the Herald, will have to drop it fairly soon as the timer is getting a little low. Still has 40 seconds to get that plate money. So.
And again, they increase the range, so you don't actually have to expose yourself. You used to have to huddle like around here to get in range of the gold for the turret plate, but he can walk a decent range away now and not expose himself. He's actually called the team anyway, so they will usher it up. Look at this Aatrox flank too. Possibility here.
PowerOfEvil not going to get knocked up there by the Aatrox Q. Pobelter though playing in a little bit more to collect a final bit of plate gold in the mid lane. As now CLG will back off. That was more than enough they needed. They could get off that Herald. As Pobelter roaming around, but looks like he will go back to mid after placing a ward. Stixxay also continuing to push in, and CLG across the board. Gold is even, but they're feeling pretty good. Getting that plate money, weakening the tower in mid, which is always the one teams want to take first if you can, and more importantly, those 2 Drakes starting to snowball that lead for them as well.
Exactly, especially considering the matchup with the 2 team compositions here. Both of them looking front to back. A little bit of an option for creativity on the engage from FlyQuest. Mainly you would look at the Rakan and the set and trying to break the formation of CLG. But with CLG's early lead here, that becomes so difficult. Thresh can reposition people. Azir is very good at helping defend the Varus and backline as well. You kind of get 2 for 1 in that ultimate, and scales very well as far as DPS output, right alongside the Corki. So CLG very happy with where the cards lie in the early game, even though the gold is so close.
Diving coming, what a play! They're in onto the Xayah Turtle. Can't use flash or ulti. They just laid the CC perfectly. Wiggily getting low, forced to flash out from under the tower. Stixxay though, getting the tower shots heated up. Santorin able to slap him down with one final bite. So it will be a trade.
Yeah, MVP tower right there. Stixxay does not want to burn his flash. Was not expecting the extra damage from the tower shot and the flash bite from Trundle. So Stixxay goes down, and that is going to be a trade. In the end, though, still with the goal at this point, I think they feel quite good about it. FlyQuest, though, as we said, they have a lot of options as far as creativity with the way that they engage and the way that they look for these flanks later on in the game.
Certainly can't ignore the mid lane for too much longer, but watch this one again. This was exceptionally well played by CLG.
All right, so they clear the ward, they come around, Wiggily comes in, sliding through, lands the ultimate, and they chain the ultimate right into the death sentence from Smoothie. Perfect overlapping there. Then Stixxay slowed up by the Trundle pillar, then flashed on and chopped to death.
Flash smite by Santorin, able to pick up his second kill actually of the game. As PowerOfEvil has returned to mid lane with both blue buff and the package. He's actually looking good on early itemization. Triforce and BF already done, so the fight is on for the Rift Herald. It's 5v5.
All right, here we go. Package ready. I think the package is a really big advantage here for FlyQuest. CLG going to respect that advantage and back off.
It's actually even with Viper in the bottom half of the map. He was walking up, did have the TP in case he needed to get there a bit faster, but FlyQuest had more than enough control around the area to take the Rift Herald for themselves for the first time in this game. Look to see what tower they want to try and break down. Is Santorin ready with the Herald?
And I think this Dragon will be the point where they actually decide to contest it. 18 seconds left on the Ocean Arrival, and it's a good timing here to start that Rift Herald.
Good pillar. Pobelter not going to burn any cooldowns. Rift Herald going to charge down. Tower almost falls, but not enough left in the charge to kill it.
I'm a big fan of Viper being here and being able to walk up from the bottom lane. If you have to wait for the teleport from Ruin, I think it will be too slow for the team fight. So if CLG want to fight it, they have to teleport earlier. I say start channeling it now. All right, see if you can get here in time.
Flanking Corki to PowerOfEvil, just poking the backline pretty effectively. Will dodge the hook out of Smoothie. FlyQuest committing to taking this Drake, though will grab it.
Definitely necessary Ocean Drake pickup here for FlyQuest. More trees will be planted, plus they can delay the soul points, and it's a flank of their own!
Now looking for it, Smoothie going to be the target, gets charmed up after the hook, wants Stixxay but can't quite find it. Wiggily pops the ulti back to disengage the support off, but that's a slam in the front line. As PowerOfEvil will shut down Pobelter as Viper found that ulti.
Really good job making use of that creativity we mentioned for FlyQuest with the flank engage for themselves. Breaking up the battle line of CLG and being able to find the kill onto Pobelter. FlyQuest coming back nicely here with the Ocean Drake pickup right into another kill. Even though they lose out on the tower first and the objective is down, you see on the top of your screen, IgNar threatening the backline, forcing this split here. Wiggily even throws the Sejuani ultimate backwards, and they completely distract and dissect CLG, pulling everyone away from Pobelter so that Pobelter has no more defenses to rely on, and FlyQuest are able to take down the Azir, take down the heart of the squad.
Yeah, you mentioned it that, you know, you can try and play Rakan out of his potential engage or disengage, but that was a beautiful sidestep by IgNar to make sure it could reach the backline and cause enough of a distraction for FlyQuest to not even trade mid tower yet, actually. They're still up 1,000 gold, and it's a very easy tower for them to take in mid.
Yep. And the later the game goes, the more weight I put on the Trundle counter into Sejuani, because Trundle himself builds tank and gets more tankiness, and will be able to also steal more from Sejuani. And you get, the longer the duration, the more value you can get out of it, and the pillar should be able to create more space as well for the poke damage to come through and set up more possible, flanks and possibilities for FlyQuest dissecting CLG once again.
Also had some pretty major item completions on the FlyQuest side as well. Viper has finally finished his Trinity Force. Took a stop at those Ninja Tabi and the Bramble Vest early on to try and weather the matchup, but PowerOfEvil has gone straight for Infinity Edge second, so already very powerful, and Corki continues to grow in strength as he gets more and more items. So even though Pobelter had a good run in the early lane and is still keeping very competitive in CS, Corki's going to become a real problem once that third item rolls around.
Well, let me tell you, Viper might have some problems right now if they're looking for a dive.
Just take the tower instead. Smoothie's also here to lead Stixxay in. Viper's like, can you get out of my lane? Showstopper's the tower taker out of the way, but going to get ulted by Wiggily as a result. He's actually living for a lot longer than I thought, but the Haymaker cooldown is now off, and that will be the tower for CLG.
Woo! I was watching the minimap too. Pobelter teleporting up. PowerOfEvil is trying to walk over and dish some damage out as he arrives. But FlyQuest, they do lose Viper here and are trying to make a counterattack. Their top turret in the end does go down, opening up some more space here. In the end, this little skirmish doesn't mean a whole lot as far as the overall picture of how they're going to play the game anyway. And it's just these low health outer turrets going down, traded from both sides.
And if you like the top lane matchup, it's been pretty fun so far. A reminder that Soaz will be joining the State Farm Analyst Desk after this game, perhaps with some insight onto the Set versus Aatrox matchup. But in the meantime, we have mentioned that it hasn't been quite the same vintage PowerOfEvil as it maybe has been in previous splits. That is not true this game. He is really just taking as many resources as he can because he should. He is expected to carry this game with the amount of farm and with the champion that has been picked for him.
Corki and Azir, baby. Both of them scaling to be massive late game DPS output.
FlyQuest also aware of the next Drake that's coming up. It'll be that next Ocean in under a minute at this point. So Wiggily can look for his own engage. Onto WildTurtle he goes. Featherstorm is good. Santorin in the front lines. IgNar again looking for that flank. Into stasis goes Santorin. IgNar still trying to find it, but the ulti wears off. Go more quickness. Ruin now with a flank on a turtle. Is he just getting harassed by every member of CLG? No one fell just yet, but a lot of cooldowns burnt here as it's CLG currently barreling down mid.
And Viper had to walk his way over, so that was a numbers advantage for them. Here we go, powering down mid lane. They still have a couple of minions, but PowerOfEvil is able to pelt them with enough poke. And he dissuades CLG from forcing too hard on the tower.
And now CLG are on the wrong side with his Drake, so they're going to have to fight for it. Viper into the team, we go! 3-man showstopper! Gets the Haymaker out as well. He's just tanking so much damage. Does fall finally to Stixxay's Pobelter. Kicks them out, but PoE and Santorin, they found the flank. That's a double kill there for the Corki. A worthy sacrifice there for Viper. 2 for 1 in favor of Fly.
Yeah, very good surprise move here. On the control ward, Viper's able to sit there and get the Dream Initiation for the team. Then you have the Recon going in afterwards, so after everyone spreads off of the Viper ultimates, it's a lockdown here from IgNar, sets them up once again. Pobelter goes down, and that is going to be Ocean Dragon number 2. We might get maximum Ocean Dragons here. Here's how it looks. So Viper on the control ward is key. The hook goes out. It causes everybody to spread, and then you see them try and burn down the set. He does get his Haymaker off before he goes down, and with the backline together, on your screen right here, that was the Varus and the Azir right next to each other. So IgNar sees it. He goes straight for the Dream Initiation onto the 2 priority targets. And that's why you see them get a big sweeping victory in the team fight and the big damage difference between Corki and Azir. Because IgNar had a great follow-up there on the initial play from Viper.
It's the usual mid-support interaction. Support does all the work, mid laner takes all the credit. PowerOfEvil swoops in, deals the damage, and that's the third item we were alluding to as well. Rapid Fire Cannon now finished, so Corki, without even upgraded boots just yet, is extremely strong at this stage of the game. And he's worth a lot of extra gold too. PowerOfEvil will have to protect his lead. He's worth 700 bonus doubloons. But it doesn't look like he's slowing down. 2 levels ahead of Ruin, and yeah, just going to force him completely out of this side lane.
Yeah, I mean, with the Infinity Edge plus Rapid Fire, you basically, you shoot out an R for some missile poke, and then your auto attack is an insane amount of burst, and you can see him using it there on Ruin, especially when you have the package and you know you can get out. Corki gets to this very oppressive poke, eye damage state of the game, and they feel very comfortable now. Not to mention, like we talked about, the Trundle counter into Sejuani/Thresh gets better as the game goes on too. So they've definitely got the game set up well for them. Moving forward with their ward line at the moment, trying to darken the map around Baron for themselves. They still have a little bit of a pesky outer tower on the top side they need to get rid of first. But barring anything crazy going wrong, they should be able to get the setup.
It looks like Viper will take care of that right now. Pobelter not in time and does not have vision really of his team's red side jungle, so we'll just have to let Viper finish off the tower and complete the felling of the outer ring. As you mentioned, FlyQuest playing up and aggressive in their opponent's hut, but Wiggily going to try and punish another great ulti here on the WildTurtle. But IgNar ready for the save. Featherstorm will be forced out. So a trade of ultis there for the jungler and AD of CLG and Fly.
You can see plenty of damage dealt back afterwards too, so it doesn't really move the needle a whole lot. I think it's really going to come back to Ocean Drake number 3 in 2 minutes here for FlyQuest, stacking up the regeneration for themselves. See what they can actually do. That Scuttle Crab, they're actually leaving it on the map so that maybe they can take it later to have the vision and speed boost available during the dragon fight. Sometimes if you have enough control, you can actually afford to leave it up, not take it immediately, so that you will make use of the shrine.
Game is also fairly close. It's only 2,500 ahead here for CLG with the Drakes being even. So FlyQuest know that they still have work to do despite how strong this Corki is right now. Can't make missteps against the likes of this Azir, Varus, all the engage that CLG potentially have around these objectives. So both teams, I think, playing cautiously around the upcoming Baron and Drakes. But a minute 25 until we decide who will be the first team to be on Soul Point.
So if I had to guess right now, I would say that it is FlyQuest, because FlyQuest should be able to get this set up. In addition, they have 2 stone plates already for these team fights on their front line. And stone plates are such a massive difference in especially these mid-game team fights in the durability and the amount of time that you can buy for your DPS for the backline. If these fights are going with the front to back facing team fights, and you're the team with the Trundle. They already have the setup work that we're mentioning with these wards through the blue side jungle. So it should be a pretty easy objective for them to secure.
PowerOfEvil also, we talked about him a lot. He has been sticking in this side lane for a long time. He has 2,500 unspent gold, and FlyQuest are still staying out on the map to contest for this next objective. I don't know how he's fit all the gold into that plane. But PowerOfEvil, level 17, he has almost 3,000 gold clear of Pobelter, and Pobelter has not had a bad game. It is just that PowerOfEvil has been stuck so long, hoovering up resources and knocking down towers. And IgNar now with a big old flank.
Yeah, they've got such good vision control leading up to the dragon here, threatening those possible engages, and CLG unable to mount their counter.
Gonna lose this Drake by the looks of things. Viper is around the Baron pit, but he will recall the Santorin also just moving up there. The rest of FlyQuest know that PowerOfEvil's got the Drake. Don't have to worry about that. But they'll let him solo it down. He will do so, collect his extra 25 gold, and now it's time for him to go back and spend some money. But there may be a Baron fight happening swiftly. Instead, it is the recall back for CLG, which may give Fly a window to get onto this Baron. They'll at least clear the vision as IgNar will slap down the control ward outside the pit.
Yeah, they're toying with the idea there of trying to trade objectives, maybe sneak in there for the Baron. But as soon as they found that ward from FlyQuest, they knew it would be way too risky. You group up at that point with in Baron pit, you are going to be doomed, because that sets you up for that set recon combination we talked about. Maybe they can find a pick though.
Viper gonna get snagged up here by the hook. Chain CC is coming in. Haymaker cannot get pressed. He got CC the whole time, I believe. So Smoothie gonna get kill credit number 4, actually.
All right, Pastry, you gotta force it ahead now for Counter Logic Gaming. FlyQuest looking to counter.
I think they might want to turn. PowerOfEvil is unbelievably powerful at this point. So gotta be careful against Stixxay. Goodbye! 30% health bar. IgNar straight in there. PowerOfEvil with a packet! Over the wall, looks for Stixxay, but doesn't find him. But Wiggily getting Trundle down. He's dead. That's an easy double. It's Pobelter trying to get him in there, but it could be the penta! There's the double! The triple! There's the quadra! And that's gonna be in! PowerOfEvil gets it stolen by WildTurtle.
Turtle, you so much!
All right, he died, so he had to take it. PowerOfEvil could not do it all. But a 4v5 for FlyQuest.
That Corky package, oh my goodness. PowerOfEvil just went off, Pastry. Ults right into the team. He also set up that engage with this big crit onto Stixxay. He fires the poke through. IgNar's eyes get big as soon as PowerOfEvil lands that crit onto Stixxay. They get the big chunk out of the back line, and you'll just see IgNar make a beeline straight for Stixxay. So, the Pillar Trundle we talked about, setting up that Corky damage, it's already a Varus at 50%. They go straight in, PowerOfEvil jumps over the wall there, Stixxay burns down, he decimates them from the backside over that wall, and then is able to flash away from the re-engage as well. In the end, Ruin finds the kill, so he's unable to pick up the extra ones and finish it for the team, but FlyQuest.
Oh my goodness!
That's some heavy lifting right there.
Big bagel there for Viper, who was not present for that fight, for over 9,000 damage for PowerOfEvil, who is unsurprisingly the first to level 18 in this game. The newest members of FlyQuest dramatically overperforming so far this split. IgNar and PowerOfEvil have just made CLG's life miserable this game.
Wow, FlyQuest made some very admirable upgrades to the team and are really showing some dividends on stage. They start to come together now. Baron buff should mean that they can easily push out the side lane. As you can see already, they've got Viper trying to get the top wave in position while the rest of the team grouping up here on mid, trying to knock on the inhibitor turret doors.
Yeah, PowerOfEvil, unfortunately for him, cannot go side lane right now because he did not receive the Baron after copping a death from Ruin, but should still be more than enough to threaten these inhibitor towers. And PowerOfEvil just throwing pokes to the wind.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go front to back, what do you do about trying to kill these stone plate frontline champions on the side of FlyQuest? Meanwhile, they can shred your resistances of your Sejuani, and then your Aatrox has Death's Dance and like these semi-offensive items. We see him consistently get poked down and chunked by the Corky, so there's just so much more 5-on-5 power from FlyQuest that they can use this Baron buff in all 3 lanes.
I also appreciate how responsible PowerOfEvil is being. He went QSS as his next item just to make sure that nothing bad happens. IgNar, though, not so lucky, but he's just going to turn around for an engage, perhaps. Will fall, but the stopwatch will buy a little bit more time. Pobelter may have found the play on to PowerOfEvil. He will fall down, and it's Pee-wee coming up big. Pee-wee, sorry.
Yeah, big pick there from Smoothie. Lands the hook onto IgNar. They get the initial kill, and then Pobelter sweeps in Pastry. They take down PowerOfEvil. This is an opening created right before the Ocean Soul was about to go to FlyQuest. Thankfully for them, PowerOfEvil does have teleport. I'll have to look at the death timer once again to see how it exactly matches up with the Dragon Spawn, but Smoothie, he gets the hook as IgNar was trying to retreat in a straight line, and Pobelter sweeps in the Corky. They take down the biggest DPS output, and those are the plays that CLG needs to get back into it, but
still not there, by the way. Showstopper from Viper under Pobelter, going to be repaid in kind, as in a 1v3, Eugene just overextended in that side lane.
And you don't have to check that death timer because there's plenty of time left on the kill on Pobelter to ensure that it will indeed be FlyQuest with the numbers advantage for Ocean Drake. Soul point here. Without the DPS of Azir, that's gotta be a FlyQuest objective. And they are so happy about that one. Just when CLG were starting to get a little bit of hope there. You know, they make the pick on the side, they put a stop to the Baron pushing, setting up for a denial of the soul because PoE would still be dead for a few more seconds upon arrival. But you give some, you take some. Pobelter going down, that means FlyQuest looking very good now.
Yep. Had the package as well for PowerOfEvil, so was able to make it out to the Drake if needed, but instead stopped by mid lane for a bit of extra farm because he was not needed with Azir still down. So now CLG will have to defend an even stronger FlyQuest, if that were possible, after the advantage they've built all game long. Still, CLG doing a nice job of staying proactive in this game. I like that they are going for plays, but this is a difficult situation for any team to find their way out of, and FlyQuest should be commended for how well they've played this game.
All right, and how they should finish out this game, they do have to be wary of those picks once again, because that's what CLG has to look for. But you can already tell, top side, PowerOfEvil, very strong, getting his top wave, minion wave pushed up, allowing the rest of the team to work on the other half of the map. If you look at bottom, the inhibitor turret is already dead, so it is an open and exposed inhibitor. Very easy for them with the extra power that they have to try and force on that point. I would recommend that they go on the powerless inhibitor, but they're spreading the map once again, and CLG looking to make an opportunity.
Yep, that's Santorin going to be caught up, but he ultis out pretty quickly. He's so tanky on the Trundle with the stone plate popped as well. TP in from Viper, who's just going to start the fight straight up over the wall. He goes! What a showstopper over the Emperor's Divide, and FlyQuest will wreak havoc. Total with one. Set with the Nexus, Viper picks it up, and that's an aggressive Feather Storm there from Turtle. It's been vintage for all these players on the FlyQuest side. Make it 4 deaths for CLG as FlyQuest will charge in to end this game.
FlyQuest with the Ocean Dragon, extra trees for themselves. Gonna be another victory here and looking good. PowerOfEvil definitely deserving of some praise. Big damage carry.
The tough ass, but they're going to try and keep it close to Cloud9. Going to pick up win at number 7, stay in second, and take down CLG. Almost 20,000 gold accrued for PowerOfEvil in that game. That's going to ruin the DPM numbers, let me tell you.
Quite a rich man. Level 18 QSS for himself as well. Has all the answers later.
Yeah, FlyQuest is a very clean-looking game for CLG. Again, it has been a very rough season for them. Like what Pobelter has brought to this team, but it was not enough to fell the second-place team. Again, CLG's schedule was extremely difficult. They played the 1 and 2 teams back-to-back for this weekend.
Yes, and it's always going to be kind of difficult because CLG is always going to play a team that is above them in the standings.
That is accurate.
As rough as that sounds, that is the reality. FlyQuest, though, definitely a happier